Thank you, Yitzhak. Please be seated. A few words of introduction. First, thank you, parents, grandparents, friends, family who are here tonight to celebrate the advancing class of 2022. We appreciate and value your partnership over the years, and we look forward to many more years of sharing joy and nachat from our beautiful children. I recognize tonight our devoted and caring faculty. Please give them a round of applause for bringing you to this point where we can look with pride and joy on your achievements and watch you as you've grown from young children emerging from the JKHA lower school to the JKHA middle school and now poised to enter high school with your experiences, with your new acquired wisdom and your learning skills. And that happened day in and day out by our faculty who have shown tremendous connection and devotion to every one of you. So thank you, faculty. We'd also recognized people who organized this entire advancement ceremony, and starting with Fran Glacian, who starts working on advancement ceremony and logistics and the technical needs weeks in advance, assisted by many of our members of our faculty in Sinai and JKHA Middle School, led, of course, by Ms. Levinson. We thank Mr. Plotzker and Mr. Berger, who have taken care of so many details behind the scenes to make sure that tonight we can enjoy a beautiful, meaningful, and memorable advancement ceremony. So thank you. Clap for them. A few parents last night at the high school graduation commented that I did provide beautiful weather and they were grateful, but there was some regular expected kvetching about that it was too warm. So tonight we did arrange for a little extra breeze, and we hope that you can appreciate it and enjoy it. And along with those who deserve our appreciation are those, if they're in the audience, I know that some of them were there last night, so I'm sure if they're here in abstention, they're caring, is our community rabbis who care deeply about the partnership with our communities, JKHA and RKYHS, to make sure that we are securing and growing the future of Am Yisrael one student at a time. I'd like to open these advancement exercises with a few reflections of my own, gleaned from a Rashi in the Parsha we just read. When talking about the princes, the heads of the tribes who led the dedication of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle, Rashi points out an anomaly or an inconsistency. Because the first time around, the heads of the tribes, they were very passive around building and collecting money for the Mishkan. And they took a secondary role. They led from behind. But in this time, in Parshat Naso, they were the first to engage, and they were first to be involved with every aspect of building the Mishkan. And Rashi says, Amar Rabbi Natan, Maru anasiyim lehitnadev kan b'tchila, uv'mlechat hamishkan lo hitnadvu tchila. What made them change? Why did they change their profile from leading from behind, from being those who were encouraging to engage, to those who led the charge to dedicate the Mishkan? Rashi explains that at first, in the first round, they were a backstop. They said, let's see if the community could stand up and they can all together, communally as a congregation, convene and cohere to contribute to the building of the Mishkan. And what's ever left over, we will provide the resources. And what happened in that parsha was that so many people stood up and contributed to build the Mishkan that there was no need for the Nesiim to be involved. This time around, they said, Amru miyata, ma lanu laso, l'kach hitnadvu kan tchila. They therefore jumped in. They took the initiative and they said, we are going to lead from the front, and we are going to make sure we grab every opportunity we have to build the future of the Jewish people. Rashi teaches us two implied but very important lessons for you, my wonderful students. First is learn from your mistakes. Self-correct. Look carefully at the way that you behaved and your involvement in different relationships and your commitment to learning, and if need be, self-direct so that you make sure that you can reach your fullest potential. The second lesson, which I think I'd like to focus on a little more, is engage opportunities and self-empower. JKHA Middle School has taught you to be reflective through Kushner Cares. And JKHA Middle School has also given you all of the tools that you need to be confident, to be assured, to be available, to seize every opportunity. And the students, as you advance onto high school, I promise you, our KYHS will offer you myriad of opportunities for you to engage. We will empower you. We will inspire you. We will give you every opportunity for you to step out, to lean in, and to stand out. But ultimately, it's every student's responsibility to own his or her own fate. The Nasi himself corrected the first time by recognizing that they were passive about their fate. And the second time around, they were proactive and they were engaged. And it's my bracha to you, after watching you for so many years, through your earliest years of education in JKHA Lower School, through the JKHA Middle School, that you are poised to self-engage, to self-empower, to ennoble and to bring goodness to everything you do, to self-correct, but more important, to bring all of your goodness to those around you, to your community, and to the world. So as you choose your path forward, I am confident that you will make those decisions to bring goodness to everyone that you know. And with that, my graduates or my advancees, I would like to give you the bracha of Yivrechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. We now continue with our program with a special dedication. A long time ago, the prophet Yeshayahu said, V'eshmad kol Adonai omer et mi yishlachu mi yelech lanu v'omar hineni shalacheni. I heard the voice of Hashem saying, whom shall I send? Whom shall go for us? And I said, here I am, send me. That should be the motto, the creed. That should be the guiding principle of every Jewish person. Hineni shalacheni. Send me, I am ready. And I'd like to introduce and invite Ashton Halpern to the podium, because Ashton, your great-grandparents, your grandparents, and parents have heard Yeshayahu's message for generations and have proclaimed, Hineni shalacheni, here I am, send me. And tonight, you have the privilege of dedicating the Gladys and Sam Halpern Amphitheater. Ashton. No, that's not nice. That's not nice. I mean, I'm 90. I'm ready to see.
I want to welcome everyone to our 8th grade advancement. Ms. Levinson asked that I share a few words with you about this space, the Gladys and Sam Halpern Amphitheater, which my great-grandmother dedicated to our school as a tribute. I feel so blessed to have an incredible relationship with my great-grandmother. As both my great-grandparents survived the Shoah and overcame myriad of plights that, Baruch Hashem, we couldn't even imagine today, I find celebrating our advancement in this special place even more than to be all the more fitting. During the Holocaust, the Nazis' goal was to destroy the Jewish life entirely. The act of us, 4 generations later, standing as proud Jews at our yeshiva and under the Israeli flag is the ultimate revenge. We are here celebrating the next generation of our Jewish leaders for our community and the beyond. Today, we are proving to the world that Jews will overcome challenges and struggles and that we can thrive in spite of adversity.
Thank you, Ashton. That was beautiful. It's my honor to invite up Ava Klibanoff, who is going to give our advancement address. Oh, no. I don't think it is. Good evening, and welcome to the advancement of the class of 2022. Parachute Rabbi Rubin, Ms. Levinson, rabbis, faculty, family, friends, and fellow peers. I am honored and humbled to be here today sharing with you a few thoughts on behalf of the advancing class. It is definitely going to be a challenge to capture these last few years in just a few words, but let's give it a try. Phew, we made it. As we begin to embark on the next chapter of our lives, let's reflect on what has gotten us to this significant milestone. We arrived in 6th grade, eager to begin our second year of middle school. We participated in various activities during Hanukkah, grew as a grade during a blockout, and bursted with Ruach during the Adar dress-up days. Then in March, a small virus began to spread. We were told that we have online school for just 1 week. Well, we all know how that turned out. As this virus turned into a global pandemic, we got used to waking up later, muting, unmuting, trying out Zoom's cool filters, and learning how to pair a nice shirt with pajama bottoms to class. I guess you could say our 6th grade year really zoomed by. Then we made it to 7th grade, excited to finally start a regular school year. Despite spitting in tubes on a weekly basis, eating lunch outside during a monsoon, and surviving the occasional COVID scare, we actually did pretty well. We were even able to celebrate our bar and bat mitzvahs here as a grade, as many of us were not given that opportunity during COVID. Finally, we entered our concluding year of middle school. Throughout 8th grade, we have built deep relationships and shared numerous experiences that will bond us together for a lifetime. Almost every week, we gathered at Gate 613 and led a spontaneous kumsitz with the entire middle school. We battled against one another in Maccabiah and student elections while simultaneously cheering each other on. We learned about our Jewish roots with programs like Names Not Numbers, which allowed us to connect to survivors and honor their legacies. We ended the year with our trip to Washington, D.C., where we connected as a grade one last time. Although our time here at JKHA has been quite the roller coaster, we have been extremely fortunate to have had our incredibly selfless teachers by our side every step of the way. They have constantly provided us with the resources we needed to succeed. Whether it was meeting during lunch periods or replying to late-night emails, our teachers have always offered a warm helping hand. They were and always will be a lifeline for us, serving as a source of security and encouragement. Now, would it really be a Kushner speech if I didn't mention Kushner Cares? For those of you who may not know, Kushner Cares is a catchphrase often used in the JKHA Middle School that emphasizes the qualities our teachers want to build in each of us. C stands for community, A for accountability, R for respect, E for empathy, and S for self-awareness. It is inevitable that you will hear this phrase at least 8 times a day. Maybe 9 if someone's feeling a little bold. However, over time, I realized that this motto isn't just a simple catchphrase, but rather it is a map that will guide us throughout life. Kushner Cares has paved the way for us to not only be better students, but better people and members of Am Yisrael. It has taught us how to stand out as individuals and be contributing members of a community. It has provided us with the essential tools to grow and succeed in all of our endeavors. Kushner Cares serves as a moral compass, which reminds us that everything in our lives has a significance, no matter how small. The parsha that we will read this Shabbos, Ba'alotcha, sheds light on this idea. The parsha begins with Hashem commanding Moshe to speak with Aaron about lighting the menorah. The Psukim describe Aaron's actions in a very interesting way. It is written, Vaya'as Cain Aaron el mul pnei ha-menorah ha'ila noroteha. Aaron did as he was told and lit each of the 7 lamps of the menorah. However, there is an obvious redundancy here. Why is it necessary to say that Aaron did as he was commanded and that he lit each lamp of the menorah? Aren't these actions the same? Sfat Emet explains that this repetition teaches us that throughout all 40 years in the desert, Aaron never changed in the ways he served Hashem, both physically and emotionally. He treated this ritual of lighting the menorah as a new experience and had the same enthusiasm as he did the very first time, instead of seeing it as just a simple task. The Sfat Emet continues this idea and questions the redundancy of a phrase we learned earlier this year. Im shama tishma'u, to listen and to be heard. The Sfat Emet interprets this repetition as one who listens to the old will understand the new, or alternatively, one who masters the old can access the new. Similarly, when we play a game, We cannot progress to the next level until we have mastered the previous one. As we continue, and each level gets progressively harder and harder, we acquire new skills and knowledge that will benefit us in future levels. As we stand here today, advancing from 8th grade, we are faced with a new level. We have mastered the past chapters of our lives and are now ready to embark on this new journey. Utilizing the tools we have gathered, we are ready to tackle the new challenges and celebrate the exciting victories that we will soon encounter. All of the morals and values that have been ingrained into us will allow us to lead lives filled with purpose and pride. We will not enter the unknown with a sense of fear, but rather with courage and confidence. Similarly to our own, we will continue to seize every opportunity given to us with a strong sense of enthusiasm and diligence. The lessons that Kushner Care has taught us will make it easy for us to approach these new tasks with the attitude of our own, as we know that even the smallest things in life have a great importance. It is now our turn to inspire excellence in others and reach our own best selves as we level up. On behalf of the 8th grade, I would like to thank our parents and teachers for all they have done for us. We truly could not have been here today without each and every one of you. Thank you, and congratulations to the advancing class of 2022.
Thank you for those messages. They were timely, personal, and actually relate to everyone here in our assembled audience. That was a very beautiful presentation. Thank you. Around 11 years ago, the board of directors started on a vision that they had to transform our school into this magnificent recreational place that you see right now. And it took enormous amount of gumption, of commitment, of tenacity and dedication to bring our school to where we are today because of the vision that they had then. We are blessed today with a governing body led by our co-president, Jeremy Halpern and Dov Landau, who have embodied and have personified the mission and the messages that have brought us of this the past legacy of this school to this very moment. And as Jeremy spoke during the dinner, that there are always shoulders upon which we are standing, Jeremy is the shoulders which we will be standing on for years to come, thanks to his dedication, his wisdom, his support, and his partnership, that together we can build a community that we are proud of and enrich and ennoble every single life, every single child, every family that is part of our greater community. So it brings me great pleasure, and it's an honor to meet and introduce the co-president of JKHA RKYHS, Jeremy Halpern.
Wow. I think my third speech in a row that I've had to follow a Klibanoff. Not easy to do. Good evening. I'm truly honored and proud to be here serving as co-president of JKHA RKYHS, along with my good friend and great partner, Dov Landau. Tonight, I have an additional honor of being a parent of one of the graduates. I've gotten to know a lot of you over the years and can't tell you how much, this can't even really describe the kind of pride I have in this class, in all of you, and just how confident I am in what you're about to go and the success you're about to have in the future. On behalf of the entire school board, I want to thank you all for being here tonight as we celebrate this 2022 middle school advancement. To the 8th grade class, this is your night. This is just the beginning of an incredible journey that you're about to embark on. Last night was our RKYHS graduation. Those students are starting an entirely new chapter in their lives, and they're doing so with the confidence that they are ready. They have spent the past 4 years being prepped for this moment, and they have the tools that they will need. You are about to begin that journey, a path that will lead you down many different routes. you will be challenged and inspired to do great things, to push yourselves and really begin to figure out just who you are and just how much you can accomplish. You are so lucky to be starting down that path. You have so many great experiences ahead of you, and we know that you'll make us all proud. Many people have helped you along the way, from your parents, family, to your teachers and administrators. However, at the end of the day, it was you as an individual and a member of your community who succeeded in getting to this monumental moment. Tonight is called your advancement. That is because you are transitioning from childhood to young adulthood. Even more will be expected from you in the years to come. We have all the confidence in you individually and collectively that you will rise to the occasion. The tools you will need as you continue to grow have already been given to you. One of the great advantages of attending a school that has a pre-K through 12th grade is the ability for the teachers and administrators to plan a long-term educational path that builds from year to year and beyond. Almost half of you sitting here today, actually I think it's even more than half of you, including my son Ashton, have been here since first grade, and even before. I want you to think back to all those memorable moments through those years. Do you remember how you felt when you first stood up on the stage for your Siddur play, for your Chumash play? How about the fourth grade Yosef play? I remember it, I was there. Think about how far you've come from all those days till today. Think about how much you've learned and grown, the confidence and the skills that you have attained. Imagine, just for a second, how your parents must be feeling sitting here today, having watched you and guided you through all of those moments. Understand the nachas that you are giving them by being a part of the 8th grade class this year. Now for a second, think back just on this year, just on your 8th grade experience. Think back on how far you've come and how you've grown from your trip to Camp Bernie back in November to your recent trip to Washington, D.C. As you move into your high school years, the pace will get even quicker. You will continue to grow and evolve into who you are, who you will be, and God willing, you'll be sitting here at your RKYHS graduation in just 4 short years. By completing the 8th grade and advancing to high school, you should all feel very proud and be very confident in your abilities and your future. The middle school years are so important and foundational. You've all become old enough to start feeling and acting on your sense of responsibility. You have done so while simultaneously surrounded and protected by the outer layer of your school, community, and family. You have all grown so much and have shown us all how deserving you are to take this next step in life. And while you did achieve this moment individually, it is important that we thank those who helped in forming your educational foundation. I personally want to take a moment to thank Rabbi Rubin and Ariel Levinson and the entire amazing faculty who put their passion, knowledge, and excellence into serving our students each and every day. I am so happy that the vast majority will be moving on to RKYHS next year. However, no matter where you go, know that you will always have a home here at Kushner. As you enter your high school years, enjoy each moment. Take advantage of all the opportunities afforded to you. Use these next years to truly find your passions. They may be things that you're already involved in or ones that you have not even heard of yet. You have been incredibly well prepared in so many ways. Use that to your advantage. Just keep doing great things, work hard, apply your talents and tools. You will find the very best version of yourselves. We are so confident you will do a great job and continue to make us all proud. Congratulations to the class of 2022.
Jeremy, we read Parshat Naso. You are the Naso of our Shevet. Thank you so much for that beautiful speech. It's an honor for me to partner with Ariel Levinson, who leads with wisdom, models compassion, instructs with great capacity, inspires fellowship, engenders trust, is tireless and indefatigable, and energizing. She believes in every child and approaches every engagement with positivism and optimism. It is my pleasure to introduce your principal, Ms. Ariel Levinson.
I'd like to now invite Rabbi Reuben and Mrs. Judy Karp to join me as we are going to confer the certificates unto each one of you. I would like to ask the first row, you may rise. Charles Ayalon. Talia Bank. Hannah Bluegrind. Shia Bodner. Haley Bondi. Noah Burak. Abe Cohen. Jack Cohen. Elise Comer. Sophie Diamond. Shira Ezra. Ethan Felderman. Yosef Fleischer. Sarah Glantz. Rafi Goldberg. Abby Goldzal. Ziva Gutkin. Evan Haber. First row, be seated. Second row, rise. Evan Haber. Ashton Halpern. Josh Harris. Kineret Holt. Yael Hornung. Melanie Huppert. Jordan Jacobs. Jacob Katz. Eitan Kessler. Ava Klibanoff. Suri Lerman. Lila Levinson. Adi Levy. Raziel Mesh. Shani Mora Gonzalez. Mordecai Ostrov. Olivia Rin. Second row, you may sit. Third row, you may rise. Hannah Rosenfeld. Jaden Rosenfeld. Zev Rubin. Noah Ruderman. Jonathan Septon. Lori Shrem. Zachary Sonnen. Jordan Stein. Sophia Steiner. Julia Schmigielski. Jeremy Tarzik. Elon Teitelbaum. Benjamin Turetsky. Ilan Uzdan. Eva Warshaw. Noah Younger. Third row, you may be seated. You did it! I also want to give a special shout out to the hockey team winning the championship this week. On behalf of me and Rabbi Rubin and the entire school, you always bring us a lot of nachat, but that was an especially good one. It is a genuine pleasure for us to be here together tonight to celebrate you 8th grade students. Before I share some thoughts with you this evening, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to Rabbi Rubin for his ongoing enthusiastic support both of me and more significantly of the middle school in its entirety. As many of you know, Rabbi Rubin claims sole responsibility for the weather on important days like this one, but he is, in fact, actually responsible for much more. Rabbi Rubin, you have been an inimitable mentor to me, and I am perpetually grateful for and inspired by your acumen and alacrity, to say nothing of your moxie and mojo that you bring wherever you go. You are a leader who makes it a pleasure to follow. I'd also like to thank Debbie Finkelstein, my valued colleague and our 8th graders principal, during their lower school and 5th grade year. Mrs. Finkelstein has helped our advancees reach this important moment, and I'm grateful for all that she has done and continues to do to support the middle school and our teachers in her role as Dean of Faculty and Instruction. My thanks go to Howard Plotzker, Gary Berger, Fran Gleichin, who have helped plan and facilitate every aspect of this incredible night. And my heartfelt appreciation goes to our assistant principal, Danielle Hertzberg, whose support and help throughout this year was deeply valued and appreciated. Of course, my greatest thanks go to our truly extraordinary and beloved teachers, each of whom has gone above and beyond as they do year in and year out, challenging and inspiring our students in every way possible to ensure that they continue to grow, to learn, and thrive here at JKHA. My gratitude to you, our exceptional educators, and my extraordinary peers is immeasurable. 8th graders, you're here. This is happening. You did a great job walking in a straight line in the processional. You nailed it. 8th graders, when I look out at your sea of faces right now, I feel so honored and grateful to have been your teacher and principal these past years. But for me, especially as a parent to an 8th grader this year, and for all of us parents here tonight, your advancement is bittersweet. Because even though we see you beautiful young adults in front of us today, we can't help but feel nostalgic as we look back and remember the little kids that you once were. Today you're grown up, but when we look at you, we're reminded of your triumphant days in lower school as Shabbat Ima and Shabbat Abba. We remember your years toiling away in your Ariot workbooks, watching night after night as you practiced Katav. We remember your Yosef play, your pre-K pool party with Mora Fran, and those cute, toothless smiles as you proudly marched across the stage, getting your very own sitter from your teachers as Rabbi Strolovitz called your name, letting the world know, here comes someone incredible, and that person was each one of you. It would be easy for me to linger on all those beautiful memories, because there are so many of them. But life barrels along, whether we're ready for it or not. And you too charged forward enthusiastically into middle school, 5th graders ready to take on the world. In middle school, you soared higher each day. You took on challenge by challenge, pushing yourselves daily, weathering the peaks and valleys of adolescence like fearless explorers. You grappled with complex issues in American history and literature, eagerly engaging in classroom debates with your grades' trademark vim and self-assuredness. You embraced a growth mindset in math, surprising yourselves when you were able to move the dial, finally understanding that most difficult problem. And in science, you considered how you could use scientific thinking to tackle real-world problems with astute engineering and creativity. In your Ivrit classes this year, you collectively made an extraordinary timeline of Israeli history, proudly illustrating your authentic understanding of the intersectionality of what it means to be a Zionist and to be a Jew. In your Judaic studies classes, you mastered hundreds of vocabulary words in our Chumash vocab lead, and your engagement with learning at school inspired many of you to pursue extraordinary learning opportunities, including Mishnah Yomi, Nach Yomi, and even Daf Yomi. Here at Kushner, you've learned content knowledge and analytical and critical thinking skills that will carry you far, successfully into high school and beyond. I could stop here. You came, you saw, you conquered, go Cobras. But if I stopped here, this is only a superficial glimpse into what middle school has been like for you, because in reality, the moments that are often the most profound and most illustrative of who you are aren't the moments that are born out of the educational construct of the classroom. It was actually in those quieter and less heralded moments when you secretly grew into the extraordinary people you are each in the process of becoming. It's in those moments that we, your teachers and parents, were able to witness your incredible evolution from wide-eyed children into sentient young adults. As each of you knows, and as each of your parents surely know, daily life in middle school is often made up of what feels like a series of endless emotional little earthquakes, with minor and major fractures shaking adolescent footing nearly every moment. Some people might look at these mini earthquakes as calamities, but actually, it was on these fault lines where each one of you trembled precariously before ultimately regaining your balance. When you didn't do your homework and you had to figure out how to deal with those consequences, you held yourselves accountable, understanding how your individual agency and choices do actually shape your life. When you and your classmates came together without teachers for a spontaneous ruach-filled kamsitz before Shabbos, your love for Judaism and your community glistened. And when you saw a parent juggling too much at home, or a frustrated sibling, or a classmate overwhelmed to tears, and you went out of your way to offer an encouraging word or a helping hand without being asked, your empathy and your humanity glowed. When you spoke for a younger teammate who seemed too insecure to speak for herself, even though it would have been easier to say nothing, you showed that it's actually more important to honor and respect others than it is to preserve your own image. With each of these little earthquakes, you trembled, and your world momentarily fractured, but you rebuilt. These little earthquakes were actually central to the creation of the people you are in the process of becoming, and that is the Jewish leaders of tomorrow. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs wrote, "Leaders walk ahead. They take personal responsibility, they take moral responsibility, and they take collective responsibility. Judaism is God's call to responsibility." During your years at JKHA, each one of you has answered that call with every choice you made and learned from, as you weathered each and every one of those little earthquakes. Each day that you've actively chosen lives of Torah and mitzvot, you've chosen to infuse goodness into all that you do. Here, you learned how to treat people with respect and empathy. You showed a commitment when you prioritized other people's needs over your own, especially when it was hardest to be selfless in that moment. You held yourselves accountable even when doing so was embarrassing or disappointing for you. You've chosen gratitude over entitlement and kindness over superiority. Each one of you has gained a self-awareness while in middle school that will always guide you as your heart's GPS. 8th graders, JKHA has inspired excellence in you. We are so honored to see that excellence bloom with each of you. And today, you leave our hallways as Kushner Cares ambassadors for life. We are proud of you. Mazel tov. I'm going to ask everybody to please rise and join us for Hatikva. Our advancees will now recess around the track. Mincha will take place immediately after the recessional. Please, guests, as you're leaving Kushner Cares, please pick up your plastic bottles and take them with you on the way out. Our advancees will now recess around the track, and as you meet your advancees at the back of the recreational field, please enjoy a part of dessert collation. Mazel tov to everybody. You did it. First row, you may